On behalf of the HLV Community School District, it's my privilege to welcome graduates, parents, staff, and friends to HLV's 1991 commencement ceremony. Both Principal Lewis and I hope that this ceremony is meaningful to all who attend and a worthwhile memory for the members of the class of 1991. The second privilege I have this afternoon is to introduce today's speaker. It's appropriate and fitting that in the year our high school traveled to Washington, D.C., that the speaker should be someone both from our state and from Washington, D.C. Our speaker this afternoon has served as a member of the Iowa legislature for 16 years, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives for 6 years, and as a United States Senator for the past 10 years. It's my privilege to introduce a down-home Iowan from New Hartford, who is currently serving as Iowa's Senior Senator, the Honorable Charles Grassley, who will deliver today's commencement address. Senator Grassley, thank you for taking the time to be with us, and welcome.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Mr. Lynch, and let me first of all apologize to you and maybe anybody else from this community over the last 4 or 5 years who have sent continuous invitations for me to come and do exactly what I'm here to do today, to give the commencement address. I want to compliment you for your persistence, and I hope when it's all said and done that you aren't sorry that you had so much persistence. Also to Larry Fuller and the dedicated members of the school board, and to Don Lewis, your principal, and of course to all of the faculty, but also all the proud guests and parents of the graduates, but particularly, especially to you graduates. It's a pleasure for me to share this very fine day with you, and it's a day that you ought to be proud of. It seems to me like there's a pretty big turnout for small town high school commencements that you have here today, and maybe today's big turnout underscores for me why Iowa's educational system is so envied around the country. It's because of our people and our communities, town by town, school by school, home by home, cares so much about quality education. First, let me congratulate you 27 members of the class of 1991. By now, you are well aware of the fact that I'm just about the last obstacle between you and this diploma here. And I guess that ought to prove to you that even after 4 years of very hard work, there's still a little bit more pain for you to go through. But I don't want you to worry. I've been through my share of internal commencement speeches, both as student and as parent, so I know what it's like, and I promise to go very easy on you today. I do recall, though, one commencement speech, or the story about a commencement speaker at the University of Iowa. He happened to be a minister. His speech was around the theme of Iowa, I-O-W-A. He started out with the letter I for idealism, and he went on for 20 minutes, and then he went to O, standing for opportunity, and went on for another 25 minutes. And then he got to W, and that stood for hard work. He went on for another 15 minutes, and finally A for ambition, and he went on about as long on the last letter as he did on each of the first 3. And after he was finally through with the speech, there was just one person left there in the audience at Carver Hawkeye Arena listening to the minister giving his commencement address, and that one person left was praying. The minister said, "How lovely of you to stay around and do it and pray during all that time. Are you giving thanks for my words?" was what the minister asked. The student replied, No, I'm just thankful that you didn't speak at my commencement address at HLV. Now, I know you don't believe a politician when he says it's hard to know where to begin a commencement speech, because we're supposed to be doing a lot of these every spring and ought to be good about it. But, and know exactly where to go, but where to begin, what to talk about, because all the people you're visiting with are filled with pride and yet still quite tense. For the parents and relatives here, tomorrow may seem a little lonely and empty as a child goes off to college or into the workforce, and as this young person you've known as your child claims adulthood and self-determination. But it's the natural order of things that parents let their children go off on their own. I've been there as a parent of children who have gone off to college and on to careers, and I can tell you that parents want to see their children make the right decisions, build their careers, and achieve more than we did. And it may sound like heresy, but a very important role of parents is to allow children to make mistakes. Otherwise, they will have nothing to measure their future successes against. Because those who make no mistakes in life often make nothing at all. Unavoidably, our children will continue to try new things, failing in some, succeeding in others. At some unpredictable point, though, these experiences will come together to produce a very successful adult. Let me also, besides mentioning parents, teachers here were probably proud of the students that they have here at HLV. I know you are. Teaching is a great and honorable profession, though one in which many go unrecognized for doing very, very well. I remember what our new education secretary, Lamar Alexander, observed. He observed the irony that teaching is the only profession in which you are not paid one extra cent for being good on your job. But this school's commitment to education can be measured in other ways, and I've heard a lot, but also remember reading about the trip to Washington where virtually the whole school took the Capitol by storm, and I think you probably are all better educated citizens now as a result of that experience. I know when I first went to Washington as a sophomore in high school, just for 3 hours, but it made a tremendous impact on me and my responsibilities as a citizen. But your trip was a very ambitious approach to an educational experience, giving a modern application to an old Chinese proverb that says, if you plan for a year, plant rice. If you plan for 10 years, plant trees. If you plan for 100 years, educate your children. Today, you teachers can stand back and take pride in what you have done to educate our children, and particularly these 27 we're honoring here today. Now, I say to you graduates, keep in touch with your teachers, even after this day that ends 13 years here in the public schools. You can still learn from these teachers. Let your teachers know of your progress in career and school. You'll find that throughout the rest of their life, they're always going to be interested in what you're doing. Now, of course, this ceremony today is primarily a celebration of 27 young Iowans, you have given a lot of yourself for this day, and of course you're going to get your reward shortly. Your graduation is an important milestone. It's not the end, nor is it the beginning of the end. Rather, it's the end of a beginning, the end of one phase of many more phases to come in your life. This afternoon, I have just 4 short bits of advice, and they're roughly borrowed for you from the headmaster of a real-life boarding school in the state of Delaware, a school that was fictionalized in the Academy Award-winning movie Dead Poets Society. First, recognize that life is quite short. The time between your youth and your good looks today and my old age is simply 40 years. Believe me, that period will fly by like a cool breeze in a hot day. So there's no time to lose. Seize this day. As the Robin Williams character urges his students in this movie, don't waste time on the irrelevant or on the trivial, when there are so many worthwhile ways to stretch yourself. Second, don't spend your life seeking happiness as an end in itself. Former Education Secretary Bill Bennett talks about happiness being like a cat. Somehow, as a cat, eluding those who seek it when you want it, and all of a sudden, as a cat, jumping into your lap when you least expect it. He's right. When you lose, or I should say, when you choose your goals wisely, you'll be surprised how often happiness is simply a byproduct of a good plan. Third, don't always be a follower, and never let someone else tell you how to think. Each of you is unique, with a unique song to contribute to society. In some respects, the time has come for you to sing your own song, not necessarily the song of your friends. For those many of you on your way to college, I urge you through the next few years of your life as you're working to that degree to fight on our college campuses the wave of the politically correct speech spreading across America. This is thought control masquerading as social sensitivity. And if you want a feel of it, read, as I did this morning, the comic strip Doonesbury in the Des Moines Register, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, don't be afraid as people to hit, as you're singing, a few false notes in that song that you're going to write. We all do it. And don't worry about your song's popularity. Some of the most beautiful songs ever written had small audiences. Finally, and most important of all, love God and your neighbors. If we believe only in ourselves and live only for the here and now, we are doomed to emptiness, full of off-key harmonies and clanging cymbals. But if we dedicate our lives, and if you dedicate your lives in service to something higher, even the simplest of tasks will become a joy. And of course, I think you'll be very surprised how many of those cats of happiness will leap right there into your lap unexpectedly. Now, come to think of it, this four-part credo from the headmaster of the Delaware boarding school sounds like a pretty good model for all of society, especially for United States senators. Congratulations and good luck to you all. God bless you and our great state and people of Iowa.
like to start out by thanking the class of 1991 for choosing me to give this speech. I would also like to thank our family and friends for sharing this special occasion with us today. I was reading a magazine and came across a poem that was very fitting for this day. I would like to share this poem with you now. Its title is, Wasn't It Yesterday? Wasn't it yesterday when we first started school, running around the playground, laughing and screaming like fools? And wasn't it yesterday when we graduated from 5th grade? We moved on to a bigger school, and one of the first steps was made. Wasn't it yesterday when we were in the halls of junior high, going to our first dance, never thinking about saying goodbye? And wasn't it yesterday when our first day of high school came? Pep rallies, football games, parties, and proms. Part of our lives will never be the same. And now the time has come, the day is finally here. Although we thought it would never come, we are leaving our senior year. And maybe sometime looking back, we'll laugh and say, remember high school? It seems like only yesterday. It wasn't yesterday, but 13 years ago that we started kindergarten. Being the last class to attend school at Hartwick, we were class of 31, and our teachers were Miss Goschke and Mrs. Rowe. In 1st grade, we were split into 2 classes. We attended school at Ladora, and our teachers were Miss Mildred Kinzenbach and Miss Showalter. In 2nd grade, our teachers were Miss Myers and again Miss Showalter. Mr. Carter was our principal and also our physical education teacher. One day in PE, he told us we only had 10 years of school left. I remember thinking that sounded like an awfully long time, but he told us it would go fast. In 3rd grade, we were all together again under the guidance of Miss Gailey. In 4th grade, we had Miss McLennan, and in 5th grade, Miss Ford. Our elementary years of nap time in kindergarten, recess, games of boys chase girls and girls chase boys, Christmas and Valentine parties were gone as we moved on to junior high. We were grown-up 6th graders and were moved to Victor. We participated in the musical Teen 2 that year. We were also treated to a different teacher for every class and the concept of tardiness. Everyone would rush to get to the next class so they wouldn't be counted tardy. We only had 3 minutes between classes, which was also new to us. We were dismissed 5 minutes early at the end of the day so that we could avoid the high school students. 7th and 8th grade came along, accompanied by junior high sports and dances. We were being prepared for high school. Excitement grew as we anticipated our first day of being a freshman in high school. Miriam, Susie, and Denise joined our class that year from St. John's Lutheran School. That was also the year we got to order our class rings. Our sophomore and junior years also brought a lot of memories, as many of us got our driver's license and started staying out late on the weekends. Our junior year was made exciting by the girls' basketball team going to state, and it was the year of our first prom heavenly nights. As we started our senior year, we were joined by Tineke de Sluver from Belgium, and she only made our senior year better. The class grew closer as everyone experienced and shared their high school blasts. Our last football game, our last dance, our last basketball game, our last prom, and finally our last day. The class of 1991 had a great last year. We traveled to Washington, D.C., some flying for the first time, making it a messy ride. And let's not forget prom, hold on to the night, or all the fun times we had on the weekends. And now here we are graduating. It seems so unreal. We will all be going our separate ways, but we'll remember the last 13 years like they were yesterday. When Mr. Carter said we had 10 years of school left, it may have seemed like a long time then, but the time sure went fast. I would like to end today by wishing the class of 1991 the best of luck and a great life in whatever lies ahead.
Tomorrow is when our future begins. It is a time for change, which is our appropriate class song. I would like to share a poem about change, made popular by a Nike ad. You were born a daughter or a son. You looked up to your mother. You looked up to your father. You looked up to everyone. You wanted to be a prince or a princess. You thought you were a prince or a princess. You wanted to own a horse. You wanted to be a horse. You You wanted your brother to be a horse. You wanted to be a veterinarian. You wanted to be president. You wanted to be the president's veterinarian. You were picked last for the team. You were the best one on the team. You refused to be on the team. You wanted to be good in algebra. You hid during algebra. You wanted everyone to notice you. You were afraid that everyone would notice you. You didn't like the way you looked. You didn't like the way your parents looked. You didn't want to grow up. You had your first best friend. You had your first date. You had your second best friend. You had your second first date. You spent hours on the telephone. You got kissed. You got to kiss back. You went to the prom. You didn't go to the prom. You went to the prom with the wrong person. You spent hours on the telephone. You fell in love. You fell in love again. And you fell in love yet again. You lost your best friend. You lost your other best friend. You really fell in love. You began to go steady. You became a significant other. You became significant to yourself. Sooner or later, you start taking yourself seriously. You know when you need a break. You know when you need a rest. You know what to get worked up about and what to get rid of. And you know when it's time to take care of yourself for yourself. When it's time to do something that makes you stronger, faster, more complete. Because you know it's never too late to have a life and never too late to change one. Change is an important part of our future. We are all heading in our own direction, either to college or into the workforce. We will be leaving our friends behind and making new friends, which will be a scary step for most of us. We will set new goals for ourselves and strive to do the best to achieve them. Our future lies in our hands, and what we make of it depends on the decisions we make. Don't be one of those people who follow the crowd. Follow your heart and dreams, and do what you desire. In making those decisions, explore your options and weigh the pros and cons. After thorough consideration, make your decision, but remember to follow your heart and commit yourself to the decision you make. As our class motto says, to accomplish great things, you must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. As our future begins, we must look back and see how we made it this far. If it would not have been for that small push our parents, friends, and teachers gave us, we would not be as far as we are today. Our parents helped us through all the hard times we had during our school years and were always there when we needed them. Our friends were with us through the sad times and the fun and happy times. Our teachers were always there if we needed help with that tough algebra problem or that complicated essay question. In the future, our parents, friends, and teachers may not be there to bail us out of those tough situations. We will be on our own, but if we take the right steps, we will succeed. The class of '91 will strive to be the best it can be, and we'd like to thank our parents, friends, and the HLV staff for that small push.
to make a couple comments about this class. Wow, what a class this is. This is truly an outstanding class, not just those who will be recognized as honor students today, but all of those, number 1 through 27. They're truly outstanding. Parents, I want to congratulate you. Just done an outstanding job. You should be proud of these students. A little trivia here. The state average for seniors going on to college, something like 64% of the class. This class of 1991, we have over 90% going on to further training. That's a great job. I've never done this before, but I think I'm going to. I'm going to ask the audience to please join me in a standing ovation for this young group of people right here. Please stand if you will this time. At this time, I would like to recognize the honor graduates. These are students that have a grade point average of 3.3 or better. This is for all 4 years of high school, and/or they are a member of the National Honor Society. Please hold your applause until all have been recognized. Denise Michelle Byer, Carrie Ann Chittick, Tenica Rita Sluber, Christine Marie Meyer, Miriam Ruth Meyer, Angela Michelle Murtha, Don Renee Lee Pittama, Kevin Wayne Reinhardt, Julie Michelle Roberts, Lisa Michelle Rowe. Lisa has a 4.0 GPA. This is perfect for 4 years of high school. That's all A's all the way through. Brandy Lynn Shea, Suzanne Marie Slaymaker, Angela Marie Benoit. A big hand for these people, please.
The HLV Class of 1991 has completed a set of requirements established by the state of Iowa and the HLV Community School District. It's my privilege, therefore, to present the members of this class to Mr. Larry Fuller, President of the HLV Board of Education, who will now present diplomas to the members of the HLV Class of 1991.
As the students' names are read, we'd also like to acknowledge their parents, asking that the parents stand momentarily to be recognized. Again, please hold your applause until all have received their diplomas. Thank you. Stacy Lynn Batesel. Denise Michelle Byer. Christopher Ryan Roswell. Donald Bryan. Carrie Ann Chittick. Shane Paul DeBrouwer. Tenica Rita DeSluber. William Robert DeSmith. Michael Lynn Flanders. Janelle K. Hensler. Jennifer Lynn Jack. Christopher Michael Cookett. Shane Travis Leonard. Christine Marie Meyer. Miriam Ruth Meyer. Jason Lee Munson. Angela Michelle Bertha. Don Renee Lee Pittamaw. Kevin Wayne Reinhardt. Julie Michelle Roberts. Lisa Michelle Rowe. Brandy Lynn Shea. Suzanne Marie Slaymaker. Angela Marie Benoit. Michael David Holland Waters. Jason Lee Weiskamp. Rebecca Ann Wilhelm. I present to you the 1991 HLV